America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2 more minutes to finish this. I'm just looking at the warrant.
You move to the back one.
How many people applied for this selectman's position while she finishes the warrant?
I believe there's one.
Okay.
Keith is the only that you're aware of?
That I'm aware of, yes.
Thank you.
And
Oh, yes. I'm not seeing.
we have just now got
problem.
it, so Suzanne is reviewing it.
Or whatever it is.
So you may talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
If you would like to.
I'm trying to think of something smart to say.
I've talked enough today.
Oh, really?
Taking a break.
You worn out of talking? Maybe you should have said you may be silent, but a blessing.
Okay. I move that we accept the warrant as presented.
And the approval of minutes as well?
And the approval of minutes, yes.
Okay, second on the consent agenda, all in favor? The next,
Thank you.
the next select board meeting will also be our annual candidates night, and that will be on October 3rd and beginning at 5:30 at the fire department. We'll start with the candidates night, and when that is concluded, usually it's about 45 minutes to an hour. After that, then we'll begin the select board meeting.
How many candidates do we have?
4. 3 school and 1 select board.
Okay.
Right, and there are two positions on.
2 on the school
Yeah.
and 1 on the select board. Yep.
Okay, so we have a couple of abatements. Let's act as the Board of Assessors first and deal with these abatements. They are,
The first one is for Richard Armstrong, Richard J. Jr. and Susan M. Rhodes for a reduction to building not calculated correctly from, well, actually, you share.
Yeah, so both of these abatements are from residents that I've been working with from when we began. And there were just some errors in their accounts and the calculations that these were lower on the priority of the abatement, so they're just now getting to you.
okay.
I did make a change so that we'll be signing as municipal officials just because of actually conferring with Juanita a little bit on the right process on this to make sure we were doing it properly. Just since it's after the most recent commitment, that's the reason for the changes on those.
Okay.
And these are simply data entry elements, not valuation.
Correct.
So this is for map U06-004A. The old value for land was $226,200. The building value was $301,600 with a $25,000 homestead exemption, taking the total to $502,800. The new value for land remained the same at $226,200. The building value was adjusted to $234,100 plus the $25,000 homestead exemption, taking the total new value down to $435,300. The building abated value was $67,500 with a tax abated value of $459. I move that we accept this abatement as presented.
Second? Any further comment, discussion? Then all in favor of the abatement? The ayes have it, and do you have
I do. What's today's date?
a bell 19?
Some exemptions for them.
The second abatement is for Francis Soverel at map R04, lot 033. The conservation easement was not calculated. The original land value was $229,800 with a building value of $30,400 for a total value of $260,200. The new land value was reduced to $129,800. The building value remained the same at $30,400 with a total new value of $160,200. The land abated value was $100,000 with a tax abated amount of $680. I move that we accept the abatement as presented.
And second, any further comment or discussion? All in favor of the abatement as proposed? The ayes have it.
What was the amount of tax on that?
$680.
That was the abated tax.
Thank you.
$100,000.
And that's what I
in
meant to
value.
ask.
I'm sorry.
Get those down in my pile.
Here, let me take that for you. Keep a pack of the original stack. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Josh.
Sure,
Thank you.
pleasure. If there's nothing else, I'll
Head on home.
head on home.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Enjoy your drive.
And as we say in my family, drive carefully.
Yeah, watch out for the mooses. Right?
That's it. Okay, what did I do with, see, this is, there we go, this is why I can't have official papers with my stack. Okay,
So I'm going to move that we postpone discussion of item 1 since Kathy is not with us this evening to talk about her schedule,
yes.
which is to set workshop date for the town business calendar.
Kathy had an accident.
A fall.
And was, required some medical help with that, so she is not here tonight.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Me too. Her absence is certainly excused, and we wish her well.
So we'll move that to
So we'll put that
new
on
business.
future agenda item.
Yep. Do you want to second that?
Second, yes, all in favor. Okay, and here is the next old business was review of the suggestions of the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, and we all owe a public apology because we were not able to get a packet out for you, because the staff has been
Swamped.
swamped, I think is the technical term, with abatements and just carrying on routine business. I was here registering a car on Monday, and I was never alone in the office. Everybody was here for one reason or another.
And on that note, I'd like to acknowledge that both Tracy and Julie are working exceptionally hard to keep us afloat, and we appreciate your dedication.
We couldn't do it without them. And I'm actually surprised, amazed, and delighted that this is only the first time that we've not had things as usual. At any rate, so just to hit the high spots, we were audited by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, which happens every year. And we have had policies, but they were not written all in one place, so they recommended a written policy for security and storage with Bureau of Motor Vehicles supply. So this is the recommendation, and I don't see any reason why any of these recommendations would not be the appropriate ones. And I think these are the ones that we've been following, so I move approval of those, of this as a security and storage of B and V supplies.
And I think, there's an item on here that talks about changing alarm codes, and, with our recent change in staff, I think we need to, put that into effect sooner than later.
I would respectfully request that we wait until November 6th, so that I do not have to cope with new key.
I don't think waiting 6 weeks actually should be appropriate. I think
It's all for Madeline.
I think we need to make sure that the facility, and each person's supposed to have their own code.
Yes, they will.
And I think, we can pick one that you will easily remember for you, but I think we should, move forward with this.
I'm not terribly worried about it. Okay, I'm amenable to that.
And with that, I mean, it's already listed on here. I just think we should start the enforcement of it sooner than later.
So what, we will need to make an appointment with the security company.
They may be able to do it remotely, but we'll see.
They can't rekey the building.
The keys, I'm not saying the key, I'm saying that, the alarm code.
Right, but while we're doing it, I think we ought to rekey as well, because who knows how many keys are out there.
Okay. I'm okay with that. We can start with the alarm code overnight.
That's probably easier.
Super easy, and then we can just get it, a locksmith to rekey the locks and
Yeah.
determine how many sets we need.
Chairs of committees, select board members, staff. Yeah, okay.
So with that in mind, I move that we accept it as presented.
And I'll second that. Further discussion, I will convey to Julie the request to the, for her to contact the security company to make that happen. Did we have other, under old business, Suzanne?
What do, do you want to, yeah. We want to accept the motion.
Oh. Yeah. All in favor?
Okay.
All right.
Other old business. I think I have any. I don't remember.
That's kind of the shape I was in as well.
I mean, we talked about old business, I have the plow contract. That's kind of old business, or a plow bid.
Okay.
You want to consider that old business or new business?
Well, I think it's old business.
All right then, old business is plow
All
contract.
right, cloud contract, what do you got?
I don't know yet.
This is the official opening of bids. This is the one that we have received.
This is the only one we have received. Is the winter maintenance for town properties bid sheet. It's been submitted on behalf of Mark Travis as an individual. And it's submitted for year one, which starts July 1, 2024 through June 30th of 2025, a contract price of $15,000 per year. It's a 3-year contract. Each year is at $15,000. He does not have an increase. With a total 3-year contract of $45,000. The equipment he has listed is a 2001 Chevy 1500, another 2001 Chevy 1500, a 2007 Chevy 1500, 2004 Chevy 3500, and a 2001 Chevy Tahoe. And it says he's the city town of West Bath. He's been here for 18 years. I move that we accept this bid for the winter road maintenance.
I'll second it. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor of awarding the contract to Mark Travis? The item listed for new business was a discussion of the job description for the new town administrator. And
I think we should also wait for Kathy and push that off to a future meeting.
I would agree with that. I do hope that we will have input from the community. I was planning to have this part of the meeting be kind of as a workshop so that people could have an input and chat about stuff. If you are interested, I have some information about past job descriptions, possible. There's one that,
I got one from Credit Flaherty.
there's one that came from Credit Flaherty, is standard. I have copies of the job description that was amended for the town of West Bath on July 6th. I have a note included for the Maine Municipal Association Officers Manuals and the statutes.
So I think we should have these scanned and posted on our,
We could do.
so that the town can,
Is the July 6th one the one that, I have trouble reading this.
Yes.
The one that has a footer of 22231406.1, is that the most recent one?
I don't have the footer, but yes, the July
July 6, 2023.
would have been,
It's,
the most recent.
She's got, ours is not the final version. You've got one that's,
I have one that is dated April 13th of 2023.
this is amended to this June
This was-
6th of
The
2023.
July 6th was amended.
Or July 6th.
Is this,
You may,
do you mind if I,
Please do.
I think it's, but I don't think this is not the final copy because there's, this is calling out, edit marks. Yeah, see, that's got the,
this was provided by Christine to me by email when I had requested it last fall.
but I'm thinking that this copy that we have here, do you see these lines? Those are edit marks, so this is not a final copy. This is the July 6th and it's still not final.
So the July 6th is
Okay.
still that
That's-
format.
This was the,
Blocking it here.
this copy is what Freddie Flaherty
Okay.
sent. It's very, very similar to that.
Thank you.
This is the copy of the Maine statutes with the Maine Municipal
Excellent.
Association's note, because the laws are written for the a town manager,
Yeah,
and a town administrator is much more determined what the responsibilities are, determined by the select board and
Is
Folks
it
in
the
town.
second of this that Jane and I could
You
use?
can take
Oh,
that.
this evening?
And
It's
so we
okay.
can-
Jane has this one and so do I.
I'm gonna recommend that we just post all of these in the next packet.
this is here.
I'm gonna pass that to her as well. And thank you.
that's great, thanks a lot.
Well,
And my homework to do.
We just need to find the one that doesn't have the edit marks.
there are times, tooting my own horn, there are times that I have spent nearly days at a time doing work that I think will be helpful to the people of West Bath. And I thought, if we're going to look at a job description and develop one for our current situation, then we need to see what some of the examples might be, and of course, what the legal responsibilities and limits are. So I did a little research today and ran my printer. It's a very interesting.
If you're open eventually to 2 quick observations. We were studying that for tonight.
Oh, good. I'm fine with observations.
Okay. The Freddie Flaherty
Mhm.
was very straightforward, very simple. My 2 thoughts with that, based on a couple of the things that West Bath wrangled with on such a human level for us, one would be to add that the town administrator is responsible to obtain proof of insurance liability for all mentioned.
Okay.
It may well be by MMA mentioned, and thank you for passing this to me tonight. But I think it's important that that be one of the named
Yeah,
responsibilities.
And we can also add that to our bid policy as well. We can add both of those simultaneously.
Yeah, I would assume whatever contracts you sign say that we must provide it. But each town is different as to what is the central collection point, and we didn't seem to have it. So, and then the other thought is, on Freddie Flaherty, I had mentioned, it serves as the approval agent for town purchasing, which is very reasonable. But here in West Bath, we seem to frequently come back around to what limit of spending authority, because we've discussed that at times the order is placed, the invoice is received, and then it appears on the warrant. So if they're the purchasing agent,
those,
up to, without prior approval of the board, up to whatever your specific amount is, you're the ones who've been.
I completely
Taking-
agree with that as an addition,
Yeah.
because
that's a good suggestion.
So those are my only two thoughts, and thank you for letting me.
Those are good suggestions. I think you've been around some town government before. Anything that you picked up, Jane?
I haven't had a chance to read all this yet, but one of the things I was concerned about was who was responsible for supervising the town administrator. And I understand the select board is, but I think it needs to be a definite schedule of contact and how you would do it. I was gonna suggest you do it on a rotating basis, like you do the chairmanship, and have regular meetings, set time, you plan ahead, and it's even published. Juanita suggested it might be a select board member and a member from the community, or to supervise the administrator. I don't know, I just think there needs to be obviously more direct contact of a supervisor or supervisors of the administrator.
One of the things that I would suggest would be the adoption of a review process that would be stated. For the first year, reviews should probably happen every 2 months, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page and wrinkles are unwrinkled. And then the second year every 6 months, and after that on a yearly basis. But to have a policy of a particular kind of review, which of course would be up to the select board that hires the person at that time, but that the process for review be established at the beginning, the very beginning, and we have not had a stated process, which has made it much more difficult for us to do our work. And the board, quite frankly, we fell down on that. So we need to protect ourselves as well as the person who comes in to do the administrator's job. And having a stated way of doing the review and stated times for the review will help to make sure that things stay on the straight and narrow.
Well, I think the review is very good. I don't know if I slacked it off after 2 years, but I was suggesting also something that was more frequent, that wasn't quite as formal, but it was a definite point of contact from a supervisor and the administrator, so that they definitely had
Yes.
that chance to exchange ideas. It might not be a problem, or just say, have you had any trouble with such and such, or
Right.
are you, do you think this process is too slow, whatever.
Right.
But just the definite opportunity to exchange ideas.
Yes.
We had it in the personnel policy, it called for annual reviews for everyone, and that has not happened in the past 7 years. So, including the staff, and people need to know what they've done well,
Yeah.
given the share, what their concerns are, and what areas do we feel that there's opportunity for improvement, if any. And, you know, it's always good to, and state what your goals are, you know, and that has not happened, and we need to put that into a formal process across the board for all the administration.
Yeah, I agree.
And if it stays in a written policy that more than one select person, really, then you could go into executive session.
Exactly, which is.
But if it's only one select person, Freddie Flaherty would agree, I
I
think,
think so too.
that is hazardous to have a single individual.
Yeah.
To avoid a public meeting, it can't be two select people,
Right,
and that's where being sure there's at least probably two other community members that are kind of a sounding board arrangement for a single select person. But if you have it in writing, and the select board does it, having one person
Yeah, we can't.
one-on-one with an employee is not proof.
No, you need
You need to
proof of
have,
conversation,
yeah.
and the other,
and whatever was discussed, because it,
There must be a second.
100%.
the other thing that I would recommend on my way out the door would be that in the job description that we hire for, the staff, insofar as possible, meets weekly at a stated time that's included in the town office open hours, but the town office would not be open. So that we wouldn't be adding to the work hours of the staff, but we would be having an ensured meeting of the staff. With the possible exception of if John's out on a fire, then obviously he's not going to make that meeting. But to have that contact stated as part of the contract, even being so nitpicky as to say these meetings will take place on Wednesday morning.
Delay opening by an hour.
Yeah,
Close early by an hour and have
Right.
it posted.
so it would be kind of like, it would make sense to me, we have late start for school on Wednesday morning, so why not have late start for town business on Wednesday morning? Something like that. So that those staff meetings are built in.
Yeah, and you know, those aren't for nitpicking on bad ideas. Good things come out of it. Sometimes somebody will offer to do a job that you hadn't even thought about asking them to do. So it's a positive, very positive effect.
Yes.
I think we should,
People have good ideas.
I want to make sure we don't go too far down this without Kathy. I think we should, I appreciate the conversation, but I think I don't want to make decisions without her.
I would like to just point out a positive with Freddie Flaherty. I love on the bottom of the first page how it clearly states serves as the liaison between the select board and the personnel. I do want to state this evening, I think that is a very effectively phrased.
Yeah, what,
On the,
On the first
On the
page,
first-
second
sorry.
sentence from the,
down here.
yeah.
Yep.
I just, for a small town,
Mhm.
that to me seems such a, probably based on experience, for example.
Well, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Well done, kudos to them, just on a draft.
And that really is very much in keeping with our current personnel policy. So,
Well, it's
good
good to,
notice.
it's good to state it every once in a while to remind people of the law.
Yes. So the question that comes to mind in absence, we have a general idea of what we're going to ask the town administrator to do. Should we begin advertising the vacancy, knowing that the details of the job description will be forthcoming? Or should we wait?
I think we should certainly wait for Kathy's input, and maybe we end up having another workshop to go through this. But I think it's prudent for us to post it as soon as possible. It will take some time, for those responses to come in. We need to set the date and then determine how we're going to move forward, who's gonna be sitting on that, review panel and whatnot. So I think it's important that we get it posted and then figure out how we want to move forward with the process.
I don't agree. How can you post a job when you aren't telling them what you're posting for?
We're gonna write it. We're gonna wait for Kathy to come in and give the input. But I think we need to, I don't wanna wait until November 1.
So you're not worried about other input other than just the three of you?
No, I didn't say that. I said we're gonna have a workshop
Okay.
when Kathy's back, but I don't wanna delay the posting of it.
Well, I'm saying I don't understand how you can post it until you have all your information together.
It's gonna follow the workshop. We're not gonna wait until November 1 to start the process. We have 6 weeks roughly to get there, to expedite this process, to make sure we get it out in a timely fashion. We are gonna have input from the town as well.
I'm hearing what you're saying, and that was why I was asking the question, because I don't want us, quite frankly, I don't want us to look like those country rubes,
I
Exactly.
think you're correct.
so that if we.
It appears indecisive to the applicant, I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's a,
It's a,
That's
that's a
amazing.
nicer way of saying.
it says the precedent right from the beginning. We aren't organized, we don't have it together, but why don't you just, apply for this job that you don't know what
That's-
it's good.
I think you misunderstood what I said. We're gonna.
No, I understood what you said, I don't agree with you,
So,
okay?
so we should,
So let me rephrase it just to clarify, because I think there's some misunderstanding.
all right,
We're gonna wait for Kathy to have a discussion with this. We're also gonna welcome the general public to contribute to that discussion, probably via a workshop sooner than later, which is what I believe I said. And then what we need to do is pull together the job description and post it completely as soon as possible, instead of waiting till November to move forward with that, because it's still gonna take time to attract applicants for us to process that. And the town is being pushed to its limits right now. And we need to be aware of that as well.
well, the town may not be pushed to the limits, but the staff is.
The staff is.
I've already volunteered to come in next Tuesday and help Julie. I understand how pushed she is.
Yeah.
So, we all get that, but when you rush to do something as important as this, it isn't gonna work. You're gonna find yourself in a pickle again. So let's make sure we take the time to be thorough and thoughtful rather than hurry.
Okay, so we can put the word out without advertising.
Right.
Just,
And I was gonna ask, it seemed to me there was a definite impression that you were going to advertise locally. Do you send these notices for job possibilities out of state?
yes,
Well, it gets posted on the MMA Works website, which if you go there and look at that, because I actually went and looked at how other jobs are posted, they actually have New Hampshire jobs on the MMA site.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's a reciprocal engagement for us to post in New Hampshire as they are posting on our site as well. So the answer to that is yes.
it works like any of those job sites,
Okay.
job search sites. If I am sitting in, say, South Dakota, and I want to move to Maine, I can look up on the MMA site and find where the jobs are. And it's not just for town administrators, it's for any municipal
Yeah.
position. And there's lots of openings. I did ask, the person who does the personnel things about, was our current salary within the range of towns our size and, valuation? And he said yes. depending on experience, salaries range between 70 and 90,000 for towns our size and valuation. So we're right there in the middle.
What about benefits packages? Do they
Benefits are the
from
same,
that certain?
yeah, the same as most everybody gets, with the MPERS and that sort of thing. And of course, there's always the possibility of time as an unpaid benefit. A generous vacation package is always helpful. People in public service need vacations.
And throwing a cottage on the lake while you're at
Yeah.
it. Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yes,
And
okay, so,
One last
yeah.
question, we only have one person that's seeking election for a select board who has a degree in town administration or municipal administration. I think it would be a good idea to include him if he can fit it in, because of his knowledge, but also he's gonna be on the select board.
barring the unforeseen, yes, he will be on it would be a very unforeseen. He will be on the select board,
Yeah.
and certainly as we get closer, I will invite him to attend either if we do a workshop separate, or if we have another format that we develop, I will invite Keith to be part of it.
Yeah.
So knowing that we've got candidates night on October 3rd, of which he's going to be part of anyway, would it make sense to have that as our workshop? Kathy's already planning on being there as the first Thursday, so why don't we start getting the information out stating that at the October 3rd meeting following candidates night, where there's going to be townspeople in the audience, we're going to have a workshop on behalf of the town administrator's position. And that way people are already there. Kathy's planning on being there anyway. Perhaps it's a good way to capture this in a time-sensitive manner.
And it's quite likely that there will be townspeople who are not always here at the same time. That's a good idea.
There also been an investment committee meeting and report to you that night.
And we will, on that night, we will also be having, on the 5th, we will need to have the public hearing to pass the general assistance ordinance. That needs to be done, so we can take care of that. That hearing is usually extraordinarily short.
Yeah.
It just needs to be public. So that, when I was consulting with Julie about upcoming things, that seemed to be a good time to do that.
So we want to officially put that on the October 3rd meeting schedule.
Put that on, see, the general assistance.
It's already down
Public
there.
hearing is on the future agenda items.
Just have a town administrator workshop.
So then let's add town administrator workshop.
That'll give people a couple of weeks to decide what they'd like to include. We'll get these posted on the website for people to see these 3 job descriptions.
Yeah, and I've got all these handy hard copies, so we can leave those on the desk upstairs.
Well, she can scan it and then put it as part of the packet.
And we don't have to scan them. I have them all electronically on my magic ink machine. I'll send them to you in the morning.
I hope the names of the candidates get on the town website. We don't articulate them at this meeting, we don't read it into the record, that these are the individuals who filed paper on time to run for the select board. These are the 3 who are running for the school board. We act like somehow it's confidential, and it would be very helpful to the public to get that on the website, or to read it into the record tonight, really.
Do you have that
Detail is
information?
helpful.
Do you have that, Tracy?
No, I need, but
Do you want to go upstairs and grab it and we can read it into the record? Is that beneficial? How's that Juanita?
Thank you, Tracy.
you're welcome.
We like,
Aim to please here, Juanita.
we like,
Especially where it's 2 open seats and 3 folks running for the school board.
right.
It seems healthy to have names out there.
I agree.
Yes, especially if we're asking people to come in a couple of weeks.
So while we're waiting for her to get that, you want to jump to it, one more other new business item?
Why, sure.
So, we unfortunately have the honor of passing on the Boston Cane recipient to a new town resident. And so, Julie did a research as to who those candidates were, and that our oldest resident is Mr. Hugh Dunphy, who was born October 14th of 1930. And we've got two other people, all within a 4-week time frame. The next was Florence Mary on November 6th of 1930, followed by Kathy Rogers on November 7th of 1930.
That's bizarre.
So Julie thought that, well, we got so many people so close in that time frame that perhaps we pass the honor of the cane on and then honor the other two folks with bouquets of flowers.
That makes total sense, doesn't it?
So I'd like to motion this evening that we,
Give Casey a chance.
so what I'd like to do is motion that we honor all three of our oldest residents in that scenario, where the oldest resident will receive the Boston cane and the other two women will also receive an honor and bouquets of flowers.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Any discussion, you guys?
I respect that you guys are doing that.
I think that's great.
All in favor? And at the same time, express thanks to Edith Wood's family for the timely return of the cane, and our deepest condolences for a family that, and Edith, such a lovely, lovely woman, and she will be missed.
So let me return back to the candidates. So we have one individual who's going to be running for the open position on the select board, and that is Keith Hines. And then we have 2 open positions on the school board with 3 applications or candidates for that. The first individual I have here is Courtney Giovinazzi. The second individual I have here is Joanne Powers. And the third individual I have here is Robert Weir. So all of these folks presumably will be at candidates night, and certainly welcome you to meet and greet with them.
And the second one you mentioned is an incumbent. She's already on the school.
Correct.
Yes, Joanne
Joanne Powers.
is incumbent. The other vacancy is created by Keith Hines.
Stepping into a new job.
Yes.
I'm the quagmire.
Let's just say he's got his teeth on public service.
Right, thank God.
Yes, I'm pleased to be able to turn over all my material. I have boxes. I saved up my latest edition of the MMA, Public Municipal Officials Manual. It's got his name on it. I don't want him to have to leave. Public comment. Any more comment from our friends in the audience? Yes.
Juanita is going to bring up again the state valuation, for preliminary state valuation for 25. I hope to see that soon as an agenda item for discussion, recognizing that the waterfront and non-waterfront have a 10% differential range 1 year after the completion of the revamp, and that is of public impact. And people, when we say we offer things to us in West Bath and we vote, I think we have collectively found that at times in the last couple of years we have voted believing that we understood detail that in fact was not there. This is detail that is highly relevant and likely to impact the next year's tax commitment, and it should be placed publicly.
On the agenda.
Some folks will not find it relevant to their thought process, others will find it highly relevant, and it should be part of the record.
Perhaps we can, the 3rd is going to be very, very busy.
And I think it's something that we need a commitment for Josh to be here as well for.
Yes,
So I want to make sure that we.
let's put
Do
that
it.
tentatively on the agenda for the 17th.
Thank you.
And so that I know what I'm talking about.
It is the preliminary
Preliminary.
2025 state valuation report.
Okay.
And we can post that as part of the meeting packet as well, so people.
And
can
that
read it
would
in
be
advance.
nice, that would be very helpful to people who find it interesting, very helpful.
Well, all of us
Thank
who are about to write our checks or to notify our mortgage companies should find this interesting.
you. Yes.
Any other public comment? Thank you, public. And so we have general assistance, we have the town admin workshop, and for the 17th, the preliminary 2025 state valuation report for discussion.
Lovingly known as the SV,
The SV,
for state valuation.
of course.
The SV
So-
25.
So now we can all sound very knowledgeable, and we're going to be discussing the SV 2025. Comments and announcements from you, Suzanne?
I have none. Other than I hope Kathy feels better.
Oh,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes.
Yes,
Should
Jim.
there be any statement about the 7-year-old who died this week, who was a West Bath resident?
That is heartbreaking.
I'm sorry, I had not heard this.
I didn't know it either.
Oh, it was a 7-year-old who from the West Bath School who was playing sports in Bath, a football game, and he dropped dead of a heart attack during practice or game.
Oh, my God.
And it has been publicized
It has
on
been-
Channel 8, WME,
Okay.
whatever.
It
channel
was in
it's
the,
called.
yeah, it was in Facebook and all kinds of places.
I did not know that.
I
Yes.
just
That's
remember
terrible.
that.
It was Tuesday afternoon, and I did hear the family's name, and I am sorry, I'm not sure I'd be comfortable to repeat it.
No.
And I don't recall it at any rate, but it was a first grader at West Bath School. And my understanding, it was a highly attended, you know, what do they call, we used to call it powder puff for some of the little
It
kids.
was, yeah, YMCA
So, the
going.
little football, and it did not involve, as I understand it, contact with another youngster. It was unexpected and
Yeah, it was a
they
medical.
couldn't.
So I Googled it up, I like to, Evan Briggs was a 7-year-old boy who died Tuesday afternoon during a flag football game at Bath area YMCA.
Yeah.
It's terrible,
Deepest condolences.
absolutely.
Well, they had a GoFundMe page and they've been collecting food and stuff, all kinds of things. The other thing was the Morse High School, sorry, but the Morse High School football team was practicing. There were all kinds of people there that were just stunned.
That's, I mean, just unheard of for a 7-year-old to have that happen. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh.
Ironically, West Bath School's playground is named for my youngest child's classmate, Joan McCole, who also passed away as a first grader.
Jeez.
So in irony, it is the second time in my awareness that this has happened for West Bath School.
Mm. That's why that doesn't.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, our deepest sympathy to the family, most certainly.
Oh, goodness, yes.
And Emily was there practically all night Tuesday night, Bob saw her on Wednesday, and she was finally leaving about 3:30 and she was exhausted.
And concern for the staff and the students of the school.
Yeah.
This is
I'm sure she.
devastating loss. And
It has impact.
we do not ever expect that sort of thing.
No,
Shocking. In my other job, I would say we will hold the family in prayer.
yes, good idea.
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Good night, ladies.
Hey, thank you for giving me these.
Thank you for being all
Oh,
Yeah,
every now and again, Juanita, it's fun to do my job.
yeah.
Well, you know, you could have recruited me some of this type of stuff, you know, with all